All right, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's session. My name is Courtney Carter. I'm actually the Career Center Coordinator here at RCC. We're excited to have you all with us today. Today is our employer meet and greet with Fastenal. Our Fastenal rep, Lebecca Lomas, is going to share with you today the opportunities, the company culture, give you a little background on the organization she represents, which is Fastenal. So we're excited for you all to hear what she has to say, and we're excited to learn as well about the great opportunities and great organization they have over there. Before we hand it over to Rebecca here, we do want to give you a quick intro from ourselves, myself and Muriel over here in the Career Center. So, of course, your RCC Career Center, we help students in two facets. One is career exploration and life planning. So we're here to help students really think about what career they want to end up in and what their educational journey could look like so that they're the best applicant by the time they reach that opportunity to get into that dream employment opportunity there. So we really think about that academic and career journey and help students think about how to get there as best they can. So that's the career exploration realm there. The other realm that we help students with is career readiness. So that can include the resume, the cover letter, the interview prep and strategies. We have a wonderful career clothing closet that Miriam, I'm sure, will touch on briefly, really quick. And then we also have a wonderful job board called Handshake, which is actually new to the district. So a bunch of great resources in our career readiness service and bubble there that we help students out with as well. A little bit of background on myself. Again, I'm Courtney Carter, the Career Center Coordinator. I am a CTE counselor also here at the college, but I also facilitate another area which is guided pathways, which is a framework that helps students figure out and enter their path here and supports them going through their college experience to completion. So that's another one of the initiatives and areas that I work with here at the college as well. So pleasure to meet you all. Thank you for being here with us. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Muriel. She's going to do a quick introduction before we go into our session today with Fastenal and Rebecca. So go ahead, Muriel.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Muriel Anderson McDade, and I am the employment placement. I take that back. My title recently changed. I have to get used to saying job developer. I am the job developer here at RCC, and I'm so excited to welcome Fastenal here. We have Rebecca here. We've been working together for a few weeks now, maybe even been a couple of months trying to get this date locked down. And so I'm really excited for the opportunities that she has to bring and share with you guys. So if you have any questions, now it's the opportunity to ask those questions. Please put them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. But she also has the presentation. So if you have questions during the presentation, go ahead and put them in the chat and we will have time afterwards to answer those questions. So I'm going to just hand it over to Rebecca so we can get started. But thank you guys so much for joining and I look forward to this amazing presentation. Go for it, Rebecca.
All righty. Thank you so much. I always appreciate the opportunity to get in front of students. My name is Rebecca Lomas. I am the regional recruiter and employee development for Fastenal Company here in Southern California. So I cover San Luis Obispo, Bakersfield, all the way down to Imperial County. It's a pretty big territory. I manage all of the relationships with the colleges and universities, and then I manage the relationships with the students that we onboard. So I get to work with them on the front end, the recruiting side, and then also on the back end and the development side. Um, and and what I see today is a lot of talent coming out of this generation. And I know sometimes we hear differently, and that is not my experience. When we onboard the students, they bring a lot of talent into our business, and it's young talent. So I always get kind of excited to see that. Also, my colleagues do too. Sometimes the sales teams, they're not exposed to the candidate pool like I am. And so when I bring them the students, for them to talk to and kind of get to know, they also see the value in what this generation is bringing to us. So it's pretty exciting. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I spent 16 years in retail sales. I've been 8 years with Fastenal. I was in the account management side before I took this position. And then 4 years ago, this recruiting and employee development position opened up, and that's actually where my heart is. I love being a part of somebody's career path. Um, and how that happened for me was, and why I have the passion for it is I was never a candidate for college. I had worked in retail. I think I was already in my 7th year, and I had a mentor, and he said, at this point, you can either go into management or go to college. And I had never even considered college. And he said, you can just try it out, like go to the community college, take some classes, and if you don't like it, just quit. And I thought, all right, that seems pretty easy. So I went down to the community college. I signed up for some classes. I met with my academic advisor, and I started taking the classes. And the very next semester, I went back to her and we looked at, some classes I could take. And she said, you should just like start taking business courses, as while you're taking your general education courses. And I thought, okay. So I just started taking business courses, and and then every semester I would go back to her and say, what's next? Like what classes are next? And we would like carve out a little pathway for me. And eventually I finished and I got an associate's degree. And then when I got my uh, business, you know, associate of science in business degree, she said to me, you should go to Utah State. So I lived in Utah at the time. She goes, you should go to Utah State and go talk to the academic advisor over there. And she was like, you're already going to school, and you're pretty close to just getting a 4-year degree. And so I thought, okay. So I went down to the academic advisor there, and he showed me like what my class schedule would look like. And it really wasn't that much longer. And I thought, wow, like this could actually happen. And so I went to Utah State, and after 2 years, I graduated from there. And I like to share that story because, I didn't, thankfully, I had people helping me out who just kind of fed it to me piecemeal. So I didn't see like this huge, mountain in front of me. And, I'll never, regret the fact that I did that. My degree actually gave me a lot of confidence when I decided to make a career change. I had that behind me, and so it gave me the confidence to do that. So, again, working with students and just being part of your career path, and getting the opportunity to encourage you and help you find your potential, is why I love doing what I do. So let me start talking a little bit about Fastenal and let you guys know who we are. Just real quick before I start, is there anyone here who has ever heard of Fastenal? And I'm not offended if you've never heard of Fastenal, because
I
we are
to
business.
I
Yeah,
told you, I was like, okay, will you?
yeah,
But that's why she's here, guys, because I want you to have so many opportunities. So I'm so excited. You don't. Not sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, so we're a business to business company. That's why a lot of people have never heard of us. But you'll see, I'll show you a snapshot of our sales. But we're a business to business company, so we work with very large accounts and we help them manage their supply chain and inventory. So again, we're a business to business company, and what we specialize in is in supply chain solutions and automation. And so that's where we spend a lot of our time. Our competitors spend a lot of time investing money in their online platforms, and with us, we like to invest in our automated solutions platform, and where we are directly on site with the customer. So not only do we have the automated solutions, but we also work with our customers, giving them support from our sales teams. So again, our goal is to develop a partnership with our customers. We're a logistics company. We are consultants to our customers. On the logistics side, we are able to move 90% of our material through our own internal fleet trucking department. So that's something that's kind of unique to us. And then also, we're a distributor to our customers. A little bit of unsolicited career advice that I'd like to give the students is, I always tell students, when we interview, potential candidates or potential employees, our interview questions are centered around our cultural values. So, and I encourage you, if you're interviewing not just with us, but any company, please go onto their website, look at their mission statement, look at their cultural values, and make sure that, it's a good fit for you. Because when we're interviewing you and asking these questions, we're checking to see if you're going to be a good fit for us. But you also need to kind of align your own personal values with the company that you'd be working for. So I always just kind of encourage you guys to do that. So a snapshot of us in 2024. So for a company that nobody's ever heard of, we did $7.5 billion in net sales. So we are an international company. Here in Southern California, we have close to 1,000 employees, or not in Southern California, in California as a whole state. We have close to 1,000 employees. And we must, because I cover 80, so we're probably around about 200 sites throughout California. So with the students, if they have to, a lot of times we have students that onboard with us during the school year and then they want to go back home for the summer. We try to move them around. So, but we have just over 23,000 employees, 3,600 in-market locations. Like I mentioned, we can move 90% of our freight and our material through our own fleet trucks. And then one thing I like to talk about is our Fastenal School of Business. And that is an internal training that we have. We're heavily invested in internal training. And so every year we require employees to have, full-time employees to have 33 hours of training hours behind them. And then part-time is 22 hours of training behind them. So again, we do require that of our employees. And I also spend a lot of time showing employees how they can develop themselves. So it's always a important piece for me because I want employees to see other opportunities within our organization. And then this is just our network of hubs. So we have, I believe, 16 hubs throughout the nation. The one in California is just in Modesto. So that's the hub that we use for distribution. Then here we talk about, the different industries that we're in. So 43% of who we sell to is in manufacturing, construction, government, and transportation and warehousing. So some customers that we work with in California, we have a huge national account with Amazon. So if anybody's ever worked at Amazon, they've definitely interacted with our vending machines. Some other customers that we have here in California are going to be, we work with Riverside County, the city of Riverside, LA Unified, San Diego County, San Diego City. So we're in a lot of government. We also work with there's a Target warehouse that you guys have there in Riverside, San Bernardino County. So that's another one of our big customers. The Burlington Coat Factory warehouse, that's another big one. So actually we have a pretty heavy presence within the Inland Empire. And then these are the selling categories. So we sell fasteners. It's going to be our #1 selling category. Safety is our second highest selling category. When you come to work for us, and I like to make this really clear, when you come to work for us, you do not need to know anything about these products. What we sell is the solution, and then we run these products through our solutions platform. So, and then along the way, we put you in training classes that'll start to give you product knowledge. So, but we're mostly focused on the solution for the customer rather than the products that we sell them. So again, through our customer service, we have that commitment. Then through our solutions, our continuous improvement. And then on the communication side, we have our automated solution plus our customer service reps who are dedicated to our customers. So those are the three promises that we give to our customers. So I want to talk about our solutions. So this is on the left here is called Fast Stock, and it's our traditional just kind of bin stock solution. And that one still is not automated. I want to focus on our automated solutions. So the first one I'll talk about is our fast bin solution. So if you've ever been in an operations class, you may have heard of like a Kanban system or a two bin system. And what that is there's a bin in the front and then there's a bin in the back. And what happens is, so in a large warehouse, so you'll see something like this in a lot of assembly line warehouses, and we have some there in Riverside. There's one customer I can think of off the top of my head that has about 3,000 bins just in their facility. It's a huge operation. And what happens is, in the traditional sense, you used to have to check every single bin for stock levels. So you'd have to go through every single one, look at stock levels. But what we did is we automated this. And so what happens is, on the back side of the bin, there's a little card. It has a scanner on it. And when the first bin gets empty, you throw it on top of the machine, and it scans an alert to us and to the customer that there's an out of stock. They pull the back bin forward, and then we go and it automatically orders the product. And so once the product comes in, we deliver it. We go and put the bin back on the back side of the rack. And what it does is it creates rotating stock, and then it also creates a system where you'll hardly ever experience an out of stock. And the reason that's important is when you have assembly line, if you run out of a part, the line has to shut down, and so you lose a lot of production that way, and you lose a lot of money. The other thing that's important is that we manage the inventory for the customer, so they never even have to touch it until point of use. So that's actually this fast bin system that's automated. That's actually unique to us. A lot of our competitors are now trying to start catching up to it, but we were the first ones in our market to actually start using it. And then I'll talk about our vending program. So our vending program is probably our most popular program, and this is the one where we are in with Amazon pretty heavily. Like I mentioned, they're one of our biggest customers, we work with very large customers. So Tesla's a big customer of ours. SpaceX is also a customer of ours. So we work a lot in the aerospace industry. And how this works is, I know that you guys have seen what an Amazon warehouse looks like from the outside. It's just massive, right? Out there in Ontario, they built the second largest Amazon in the company. So, and that's our customer. And it's actually kind of cool when they do that. They actually put our vending machines in the blueprint of the build. So they'll integrate the vending machines, and their engineers will already know where they want to put the vending machines within the facility. And so basically what that looks like is, in that building, from one end of the building to the other, it's probably about a quarter of a mile. So it's huge. And so instead of having a centralized location where they would get product, what we do is we strategically place these vending machines throughout the warehouse floor, so that when somebody is at their sorting station and they need gloves, hearing protection, eye protection, they can go to the nearest vending machine, they can punch in their employee code, and they can vend out the product that they need. And so, again, it creates a system of access so that the employees, instead of walking clear across that warehouse to get some safety materials, it cuts down the walk time that they would have to do something like that. Okay, so here we go. So this is what the machines look like. So again, these machines are built by us. We do not sell them to the customer. The customer does not rent or lease the machine itself. what happens is we just ask them to purchase through us. So that's how we make our money. And as you can see here, again, this Fast 5000 machine, the one that's in the front, that's our most popular machine. If you start to look off to the left, you'll see the lockers, right? And so the lockers can be customized to the customer's needs. So as they need bulk product, we will build the machine based around that product that they need access to. So right here where it talks about reducing consumption, on the machine itself, we can put restrictions. So instead of like some, people getting 5 gloves per week, we can put a restriction on the machine that tells the employees they can only get 3 gloves per week. So behind that machine, it's tracking all the data of the consumption for what the employees are taking from these machines. Increase productivity. So I talked about reducing walk times and wait times. So as the machines are spread throughout the warehouse floor, that reduces all the time they would spend, going back and forth to get materials. And so there you would get increased productivity. And then, like I mentioned before, the automated ordering. So behind this machine, and I'll show you guys in just a second, there's a portal that the customer has access to. And these machines talk to our system and their system. So the so when there's, like I mentioned, when there's an out of stock or a low stock, we actually put a minimum on the machine. So say there's like a coil of 12 gloves and it gets down to 4, it'll automatically alert us that there's low stock in the machine, and it'll produce that order, and then we go ahead and order it. Also too, what this does is one of the biggest benefits is we hold all the inventory for the customer inside of our facilities. So that's what people do inside of our facilities. They'll do inventory management. They do the procurement process, so ordering for the customer, just making sure that everything is accurate for the customer. And then again, like I mentioned, the selling side, so maintaining the relationship with the customer. So for Amazon specifically, we actually have an entire warehouse dedicated there in Riverside to their product. So all this product sits in our warehouse for Amazon, so they don't have to store it. And they actually don't own any of that product until it goes into the machine. So the only product that they own is with what's in that machine. Again, that's a huge cost savings to the customer, because they don't have to store it, they don't have to manage it, and we do all the ordering for them. So that's how that process works. And then I talked about a minute ago the inventory visibility. So it's called the Fast 360, and this is the portal for the customer. So it shows them inventory levels. So right here in the middle, you can see they don't have to walk to every single machine to see what the inventory level is within those machines. They can just click and see what stock levels look like. It talks also here on the far right, it says my spend. So they can see how much they spend, how much they've spent, who's consumed what. And they can look at also to long-term data. So the longer that they're within the program with us, they can start looking at seasonal data. So they can look at 3 months, quarterly, half, year, half the year. So monthly, whatever time frame they choose, they can look at that data and see what's been spent. They'll look at peak season, low season, what's selling the most or what's being consumed the most versus what's not being consumed at all. So they have access to all that data. And then just to kind of wrap up this part of it, so we have a 24/7 support team. So they have access to customer service support. Their local dedicated Fastenal service team. So again, this is on the selling side. Then our drivers and transportation, distribution, our e-business. So there is also an online platform. And then our regional service centers. So I just want to stop real quick. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Feel free to put anything in the chat. I don't see anything in the chat right now, Rebecca.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
So
but I have a quick question. This
Sure.
is so familiar. I've seen these machines in Phoenix Technology. I went by on a tour of their organization and
Oh, yep.
saw that, and I'm like, oh my God, I never knew that. But anyway,
Yeah,
run the gun.
no, that's what happens. Yeah, when I hear that a lot. So when people in from colleges and universities go do tours, they tour some of our customers and they actually get some of the safety supplies from the machine. So they have interacted with it. So yeah, that's it's funny. Okay, cool. So let's talk
Rebecca,
about. Oh,
question. Yeah, how long is, I don't know if I caught this. How long's Fastenal been around? And
yep.
have they been mainly in California? Can you give us a little background on that?
Sure, absolutely. So we started in 1967 out of a little town called Winona, Minnesota, and and that's where our corporate headquarters are. So not only have you never heard of Fastenal, but I'm sure you've never heard of Winona, Minnesota either. So, but
Touche.
but no.
Yes, yeah, touche.
um, but yeah, so they started in this little town, and they just expanded out. So they've been in, obviously they expanded out a lot in, the Midwest and the East Coast for some time. So and then I say about 20 years ago, that's when they really started to try to develop out here in the West. So they don't have I mean, we have a big presence in the West, but not as big as like I've seen some other companies, right? And especially not like on the East Coast. If you look at a map, like a heat map of our populated heat map, it's like really heavy over there. So, but yeah. So, and our founder, he's the one. You guys probably don't. And some of us might remember, the cigarette machines. That's where he got the idea to do vending. Is he actually thought, to like instead of putting cigarettes, he would take these vending machines and put material and then place them within facilities. And the idea didn't take off initially, so nobody really bought into it. And then in 2008 is when he actually revisited the idea, and it just took off, and it just turned into, so
Wow.
that's the story
That's
behind. Yeah,
wild.
it's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
wild. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's wild. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Timing,
All
right?
right.
Timing is a huge factor once you've lived a little while.
I mean, and you guys, I mean, we all see it now. Everybody, even with Amazon Fresh, right? You can go walk up to a vending machine and you can vend out some salad or any type of perishables. We see that across now, pretty much in a lot of malls and things like that. So. So I want to talk now about our opportunities and experiential training. So do want to talk about just real quick. So this QR code here, that's a QR code to my LinkedIn. So if you want to connect with me, and I work with students all the time. I have students messaging me a lot. I even last night at 9:30 at night, somebody asked me about a Zoom link or a Teams link I'm supposed to send them today. And um, so I work with students all the time, and I try to get back to you guys as soon as I can when I get messages and stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. I do try to make myself very available to students with any questions, or anything that you're looking for. Um, So you can connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message. And also, too, on my email, if you email me, I'll respond to your email and it'll have all my contact information. So it has my phone number. It has a link where you can set up a Teams meeting with me so we can meet over virtual. So I try to make myself pretty accessible. Um, So I want to talk about our, first off, when you work with us, you'll get the opportunity to gain experience in supply chain operation and sales. So I talked a lot about that. And I want to make it, what we do is directly related to supply chain management. So if that's something that you are really interested in, this is the perfect place to get like really fundamental experience in doing that. And um, you will get to see exactly how supply chain works in industry. Um, so I just want to make that really clear. And then on the selling side too, You know, we start everybody in the operational side first. And the reason we do that is because to sell what we do, you have to understand how we operate in the back end. So everybody starts in operations. And then once we can start to move you onto the sales side, if that's the career path you'd like to take, we start getting you connected to trainings that would get you onto that career path. So again, we're focused on problem solving. So that's our solutions offer that problem solving um, for the customer through the solutions that we employ with them. Again, I talked about the communication between the dedicated customer service reps and our system itself. And then also to industry specific knowledge. So again, you'll be directly in the middle of supply chain and operations industry. So you get to see how all of that works. I always think it's really like, it's very interesting. A lot of people don't understand all the activities that go into supply chain before you even put a bag of chips on the rack. So, right? So you go through manufacturing, you go through packaging, you know, people cutting POs and placing orders, deliveries, receiving, you know, back end receiving. Then you do stocking. So there's like so many activities that go just to get something on the shelf. So it's always really fascinating to me. You get to connect with Fastenal professionals, mentors, and peers. So for me personally, I know everyone in Southern California when it comes to our sales teams, our operations team, our management teams. I know everybody, and I'm able to get the students and employees connected to mentors that they would like to work with, or even if they want to see, like, we have a Lean Solutions Six Sigma team that does consulting and implementation with the customer. That's probably some of my favorite things to put um, people who intern or do experiential training with us, because they really get to see like how we implement our programs with our customers. And so it's actually a pretty cool experience for them. I get a lot of positive feedback from that. Again, potential advancements within the company. So I always tell people it's just part of ambition. Like, how ambitious are you, you know, to learn and to really develop yourself within the current position that you're in. And there's a guy that works with us. We got him out of Cal State Fullerton about 4 years ago, and he talks a lot about that. And I love listening to him talk about it because he does encourage, you know, he's one person that I know of that did as many trainings as he possibly could to prepare himself for next level. And he gives great insight to students because that's his experience with us. And so we always put him in front of our students. We do cohort groups every we do 3 internships a year, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. We do 3 internships a year, so, and they're running internships. And so within those specific you know, as somebody's interning with us, we have small cohort groups, and the students, we get them together every other week, and they get a chance to like listen to other people in our industry or within our company talk about, you know, career path, and then kind of give career advice. So it's always good for them. And then you get exposure to Fastenal's business model. So that's something that I think is kind of unique to us. Like I mentioned, our competitors really focus heavily on um, their internet, you know, the online model, and ours is focused solely on trying to be inside of the customer's facility. So it's a really big deal for us. And talking about the experiential training, so we do our structured training in 2 phases. So the reason we do that, and as I kind of talked about it a minute ago, is with our training, in order to understand what we do, you have to, or in order to kind of like do a project with us, because we will put you on a project, you kind of have to understand what we do. So your first 10 weeks, you spend learning our processes. So again, that's cycle counting, that inventory management process. So your first 10 weeks are spent doing that. So getting familiar with our systems, and then also interacting with the vending machines, so you can see how those work, and then also getting the chance to go onto the customer site so you can see how they how we integrate with them. And then the second phase, the phase two of that, is the project side. So that's where we do a structured, um, it's also a 10-week program, and it's structured around 2 projects. On the sales side, it's actually not 2 projects. On the sales side, we teach you how to do calls. So just kind of like developing what we call a cast of characters. So looking inside of a facility and looking at it and saying, who are the decision makers? And you build that cast of characters so you can kind of know who you want to target within the facility. And then we teach you how to set up a discovery call. So outreach, right? How do you write an email to those people, or how do you set up a discovery call with them, so that you can try to set up a meeting and start talking about what we do. And then the last part of that is, let's just say somebody does land the discovery call or land a meeting with the customer. We take you out to the meeting and you get to see how our sales teams go ahead and start working with that customer. So it's actually a pretty cool, it's a cool, the sales side is cool because you get to be pretty hands-on with it. Same with the operational side. If you decide to do like an operations training, that when you do 2 different projects, um, and then and those are with the inside of the facility, whether you choose to do safety, implementing safety, just kind of also we use the Lean Six Sigma model, or um, to 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 clean up, any area that's not functioning. So we look at that as well. Also in that, you talk about, we could do procurement process as part of it, accounts receivable, so how we collect from the customer. The one that I think is to me is the most um, interesting is optimization. So if I have a vending machine sitting at a facility and there's, 2 coils are spinning really fast, and then you have 1 coil that's not really selling, right? So how do we optimize the machine? What can we do to move things around to get those coils spinning? So kind of looking at that. Like I mentioned, the training is continuous throughout the year. So, if you start now, then you can do the experiential training in the summer. Um, Same if you get hired in the summer, you start the experiential training in the fall. So it's ongoing for us. So that way we don't, students can onboard with us at any time, and then we can start to get them up and running on the trainings. And then again, these are the idea behind this. Me and my colleagues were the ones that developed these trainings, and the idea behind them was really to start to develop our future leaders. And I do want to say that, when I hire somebody, yes, the position is part-time entry level. But when I'm talking to somebody and looking at like a development plan for them, I'm looking to develop a future leader. And, I will say this, up in the LA area, and this is why I try to prepare for something like this, and it happens a lot. Last year, we call it the on-site model. So we have the 2 models are our branch level, which is it serves multiple customers, and then the on-site model. So when we do 100,000 a month with a specific customer, we start to go directly on site with them, and that's actually our fastest growing model in the company right now. And so typically in a district, you might open 2 or 3 on sites in a year. So um, but last year in the LA market, LA Orange County market, we opened 8 on sites, and we're on pace to do 4 more this year. It's a lot, and it completely drained out my internal pool for to place people if we start to open. So it grew really fast, and yeah, it like wiped out all of um, my pipeline for my leaders. And so I actually am kind of scrambling to get people trained up so that when we do open another on-site or we have another leadership position open up, that I have somebody to fill that position. So that's actually it's a challenge I'm facing, but it's a good challenge that I'm facing. So I'm fortunate to have that. So that is all I have. Let me stop sharing
Yeah.
here.
There is one question in the chat is the internships. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yep. So I call it experiential training. The internship, yep, it's the same thing.
Okay.
We can do internship for credit. So I'm doing that right now with a couple of students, one from Cal State Fullerton, one from San Diego State. So yes, we do offer internships. In fact, thank you for asking because I have two positions open right now, one in Riverside, and I believe that posting closes on the 11th. And I have another one in Rancho Cucamonga, and that one closes on the 12th. If you go to careers.fastenal.com, let me type that in the chat, and you type in your zip code, those two positions will populate, and those are for a internship experiential training. So just kind of keep that in mind. I work, like I mentioned, I work directly with both of those managers out there, and we currently have students who are doing internship training within in those. Well, I know in Riverside for sure. My student, she works there, so.
So can you give us an idea of the ideal candidate? I mean, in the sense of
Oh,
what kind of student or
yeah.
field or training or something that would be a good fit for your
Yep,
organization, if that exists.
it does.
Okay.
So just so you guys know, there is no degree requirement to work with us. Our target is first and second year students. And I will say that one thing that's unique about us is we are one of very few companies that offer internship experience to first and second year students. Most companies are looking for third and fourth, and that is not us. Uh, we like to work with the business schools, but we will take any student. So there's a couple of requirements. One is you have to be 18. The other one is because you do drive our company vehicles, you will have to have a current driver's license, and we will ask for a motor vehicle record. We'll do that as we onboard you. That you don't need to have that up front. But those are some things that the potential employee candidate will have to onboard with us. Oh, and then I'll kind of give you like a background. So on the operations side, like I mentioned, we start everybody in operations. So on that side, again, you'll learn about cycle counting, inventory management. You work within the warehouse. These warehouses are not big; they're pretty small, and the work isn't super intensive. It is time sensitive, but it's not like Amazon where you have to have like 500 touches in an hour. It's nothing like that. So the other thing I like to mention for the students is we are Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. So you get your nights and weekends off. Um, you can kind of tailor your school schedule around your work schedule. So I have students that work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they go to school Tuesday, Thursday. Or right now down here, San Diego State student, she works always in the mornings and then she goes to school in the afternoons. And we're very flexible with scheduling. I always tell the students, just please be communicating with your managers. So for that particular student, she had midterms um, recently, and she just let the manager know she needed to take the week off to do her mid study and also take her midterms, which we were able to work with that. So that's not something that is foreign to us. We also understand that every semester the schedules are going to change for the students, so we always prepare for that as well. So
So I went onto your website and I'm looking under the jobs. I'm trying to find the two, but basically I'm looking at departments. So for example, it has accounting, administrative, information technology, lean solutions, and several other supply chains. So students who are in these various programs, would they be able to connect with you or check here if they do see something available, or are you only on a certain, um, are you the HR for just a specific discipline, for example?
What do
Well, like, would they con if there's any students on the call right now that might be interested in something with Fastenal on this site that says information technology?
oh, yeah. So all of those, the information tech, all of that is done out of Minnesota. Um,
Okay.
Out here, it's just going to be operation and sales.
Okay.
We very rarely, I will mention this, we very rarely will have a finance position open up. We've have had it in the past because we do have a finance team here in California, but they, those guys, somebody gets in that position, they're in it for like 10 years. But so we have had those open up. Um, right. So I'll mention this. I'm not, it's not guaranteed at all. um, they're looking to expand my team, which is in we're considered HR, but we do employee development. So we do so that's always a possibility. Again, that's a position that doesn't open up very often. So, and then a lot of everything else, not everything, but a lot of like our Lean Solutions Six Sigma team, our national accounts team, we have a customer solutions consultants team. A lot of that promotion is done from within. So we, and our pipeline for those specific positions are pretty, like, we're heavy on in our internal pipeline for that. That's why I always encourage people. I'm like, just get your foot in the door and then I'll start to work with you. Like, that's the best thing I can do. So yeah.
We did have a couple of questions. Let me see
Yep.
here. Can you ask her about formerly incarcerated background checks, please? Are they friendly? Like, what is,
Absolutely. Yeah.
okay.
So I will talk about this. I just barely found out. So I was under the impression that we do background checks. I was talking to one of the managers and he was like, "We don't do background checks." I'm like, "Are you sure?" And he said, "I'm pretty sure we don't." And so what I would say to that is apply and let's just see, because he was very confident that we don't do. And I also have heard, I know for a fact we don't do background checks outside of California. So please, let's just, if you decide to apply, let's look at it. We'll go through the process and let's kind of just see where you land.
Okay. And then the other one was, what about a vehicle? Is there positions available for people who do not have a vehicle? I think there was two questions about not having
Yeah.
cars.
Yep. So the first one, you don't you don't necessarily have to have a vehicle to get to work. As long as you just have a driver's license, you're good. So
Yes.
if you can, like, take the bus to work, or you have a way to get there, that's totally fine. Um,
Okay.
Experience needed for the
Yeah.
hiring process?
Yeah.
Nope. So no experience needed. And this is a huge question. This is one I like to kind of get with you guys. Like, if you have no work experience, that's okay. What I would encourage you to use and kind of fall back on is your educational experience, right? So you are in school, and I know for a fact when you guys, every semester you have to do a project, like a team project. Like, not every semester, but I would suspect many semesters you have to do team projects, and that is considered work experience, because you are working with a team, to complete a goal. So I always tell them, if you're involved in any campus, that's the other thing, get involved if you are, or if you're not, get, and you have the time, get involved in campus clubs, uh, student student-led clubs, things like that. Get involved. That's also considered work experience. With the campus clubs and those student-led clubs, this takes a lot of energy to organize. to throw events. So whenever you do events, you learn how to work with others, organize, you're delegating task out. So that's also considered work experience. So yeah, just, and then any type of volunteer experience obviously is also considered work experience. So you know, even when I'll look at somebody's resume and it'll say that they've worked like in the service and, you know, in the food and beverage, whether it's Jamba Juice to McDonald's, I don't care, because to me that's considered customer service experience. And when you work with the general public like that, and I can speak to this because I spent 16 years in retail sales. When you work with the general public like that, to me, that's some of the best customer service experience you can actually get, because it's very difficult to do that. So, and then the last one, are all positions required driving? So I will say this, and it really does depend on the on-site. So if it is an on-site, you do not have to have a driver's license. However, some of the on-site, there's the campus is so big that you have to drive within their facility. So it kind of just depends. So I'll use an example. There's a customer in Riverside on an on-site facility. It's PSG. They do hydraulic. They build. It's an assembly line. They build hydraulic motors, and that does not. They don't drive on that site. That is directly on site in the customer's facility. So I don't have anything like that open right now. But so that particular on-site has opened up before though in the past. So.
And there was one more about
Oh,
the internship. So you mentioned, so the two that are open, are those paid or non-paid? Are those college
oh, of
credit
course.
opportunities?
Yep. So they're paid. We
Oh,
pay between 18 to $22 an hour.
oh, okay.
And if you need internship credit, I can set that up.
Okay, perfect. So how would we get going? Real quick, Courtney, I just want to know because I'm going to have to leave you right at two. But
Mhm.
if students want to get involved with you, I mean, I thank you for sharing your contact information with them. But we have Work Ready Wednesday, so if they want to come in here and get ready to apply for Fastenal with resume or going on your website and doing an application, would it be possible for to have that little extra touch where I could send you their resume and say, Rebecca, what do you think? You know, how could you help me get this resume ready for other eyes to see? Or would it only be your eyes that needs to see it?
Nope. So here's how the application process works.
Okay.
You would apply to the position and you're going to get a corporate phone screen. So within that corporate phone screen, you're going to get asked 5 questions. So that's something I don't have any control over. But what I will tell you is within your resume, I, the screening process is it's very I actually don't know how it happens. I don't think it's automated. I'm pretty sure we have people who are physically looking at those, but they just want to see. I always encourage people just put a little bit of a buzzword inside of the resume because that's what they're looking for. So, right. So I'm a business student or whatever supply chain, like if your major is going to be business or, in the future supply chain, like somehow put that into the resume because they're going to look at that. When they ask the 5 little questions, the same thing. Talk about any type of customer service skills you have. So just say, yep, customer service or supply chain. Those are buzzwords that they're looking for. Operations. I work for Target in receiving, scanning product in, and I'm interested in operations. Like all those little buzzwords, that's what they look for. When it comes to the driving and the driver's license, because I did have somebody screened out recently because of that, the question I believe is, do you have a current driver's license? Yes, I have a current driver's license. Don't say that the person was screened out because they had a driver's license from a different country and they came and they were in the process of getting a driver's license here in the United States. And I've said to the guy, don't tell them that. Like just say, yes, I have a driver's license. Kept getting screened out. Um, so just be very black and white with everything they say. Like I tell people, just tell them what they want to hear. Because if you don't, you're going to get screened out. But once you pass the corporate phone screen, those applications come directly to us, and that's when we can start the interview process. And I do see every single application that comes through. So just want to be clear on that. I go through them. If the students put on there that they heard of us through Riverside Community College or, whatever, that's always a plus because now I know, okay, they were one of our students. They probably sat at an event with us. So whatever. So that when it asks like how you heard of us, put that in there and it is already like a flag for me to take that application and push it through. And I actually try to interview every single application that comes through. So there's sometimes we get 20 applications, and so we do a little bit of looking at it. But typically we get 5 or 6 or 7, and we try to interview, at least give a first interview to every single one of those people. So interview process probably takes about 3 weeks. If I can get everybody moving fast, that's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, so I saw this.
Rebecca, I think I got the direct links, but I want to make sure I have the positions right. So was it
Uh,
supply chain associate and
that's
the
at the Riverside
fulfillment
location.
specialist?
That's at Rancho Cucamonga. Yep.
Perfect. So I think I got them right here. I'm going to put them in the
Oh,
chat.
cool.
I
Thank
think
you for
those are
doing
the
that.
two.
Yep,
Yeah, I was looking at them, and I also wanted to ask if they have a general time frame. I think I'm seeing here 10 to 28 hours a week, right, of
that's
work
correct.
for these
Yep.
roles.
Hmm.
But what's the duration of them? I know you said sort of training and experience for 10 weeks. Is it a 10-week experience only, which is fine too, or what's the time frame of these opportunities?
You're a permanent employee with Fastenal.
There it is. Oh, all right,
Hmm.
all right.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
so permanent employee, that's a very learning, training, experiential based, right?
Correct. Yep.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. You bet.
Awesome. And then I have to hop off because I have to run out to this event real quick. But OPT, maybe we can talk about it later, but I do have some international students that has asked me about connecting with employers who understand the operations of OPT. I mean, they just need to work in the United States for that 1 year and get that experience. And I'm having a challenge because I don't even understand OPT, but I wanted to and mention that. Are you familiar with it at all?
I am.
Okay,
And yeah, so if you
perfect.
want, we can cover that later.
Yes,
But
yes,
yes,
please.
we do OPT and the CRT students.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. You
You bet.
guys, Courtney, you can close it out, but thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rebecca. I have to run out to this event and I'm so grateful. Have a great day,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. I know we're right at 2 o'clock. Rebecca, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for spending time with us here and sharing all the ins and outs of Fastenal and all the great opportunities, both experiential and the long-term opportunities. Sounds like a wonderful organization, a wonderful company. I think I've seen trucks or something like that around,
Yeah.
so now I can put two and two together with what I'm looking at. So thank you so much. I think we've covered all the questions, y'all.
I
Yep,
have
we're
one
just getting
question,
thank
please.
yous.
I have
We're
one
just getting
question, please.
thank yous in the chat. Oh,
Can
sorry.
I
Did
jump
someone
in?
have a question there?
Yeah, just one question.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you have any job that are like in the accounting department in your company?
Any job like that is going to be out of Minnesota, so not here
Oh,
in California.
okay, thank you.
Uh-huh,
Yes,
you bet.
my friend is working for a logistic company and he's looking
Oh,
to to move forward after 5 years. He said, "Oh, I'm not learning anything. I want to grow." So I was so excited to meet you. So that's why I just attended for my friend.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, cool. Thank you.
you bet.
No, thank you. Great questions all around. Thank you for that. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, hey folks, I appreciate you, Rebecca, and appreciate everybody being here today. We want